A letter from concerned students to the Evergreen community. This was found on a corkboard at the Evergreen State College in Olympia, Washington. The administration has made very little attempt to communicate with students the intentions of the cuts. They mask the layoffs of 30% of the faculty. Is it 30%? I heard it was 40 faculty who were cut. If it's 30%, that's a huge amount. That's larger than I've heard. 30% of the faculty, and the cutting of the costume shop and the scene shop with the imagery. They're masking those cuts with the imagery of Evergreen's new marketing department, which I've done an episode of, and that marketing department does have a penchant for imagery that doesn't necessarily line up with reality. So I agree with this poster so far, which has compromised the student community to make their tour more appealing. I wonder what they're talking about. If there's this rosy lane that you go down, lined with, rather than yellow bricks, red bricks, and you go through the college and you see how beautiful it is. But, you know, Evergreen's marketing department does need to give tours to prospective students, but these students are upset by this lie, as am I, for sure. To continue, the administration wonders why the enrollment rate is dropping, but they have not even attempted to communicate with the students. Had they done so, they would understand how the crippling prices of the dining services, such as the greenery and the pod market, have endowed students with unpayable debts. How are you endowed with unpayable debts? Simply don't shop there. Go down the street. Basically, you pay for a bus pass included in your Evergreen tuition. So you can just go down to Safeway or to Trader Joe's and get other food. Basically, what these students are doing is saying that the cuts that Evergreen is making has nothing to do with enrollment, has nothing to do with the social justice mentality, but it has to do with the price of the food on the campus. This is what you get for an Evergreen education. The ability to blame everything except your idiotic ideology. Idiotology. Okay, they would hear of how the prices at the bookstore are gouging students of their meager funds, how the parking services ticket us, and how the police spy on us and persecute us. You are not persecuted. You are barely spied upon. People are watching if dangerous things happen. That's not spying. That's being aware, and it's their job. Furthermore, yes, the bookstore does gouge. And I had this very un-PC thing to say about the bookstore when I was going there, about how Evergreen has lifted its sexual assault ban inside of the book department or the bookstore in order for the bookstore to rape your wallet. So I got there on my own. The Evergreen community is being robbed by the alliance of the police, the prison industrial complex, Aramark, who serves prisons as well as the college, government bureaucrats, token progressives, what are you then? And pandering market propagandists. You're making fucking propaganda. The foundations of this school were built on the corpses of the forests. This is printed on fucking paper! For which the school is named, and the theft of land and culture from the Squee Atoll tribe and the Squanix Island peoples who should rightfully own this land, and this latest assault now focuses on the community that students and staff have built. Wait, hold on. The staff is a part of the structure that raped this land of trees, right? And the students were there supporting this structure that the institution has raped in order to provide a place for staff and students to be. So they just shot themselves. Well, there's probably nothing in the head. They popped the balloon of their brains writing this paragraph, which is all in centered alignment. Ultimately, the Evergreen administration is to blame for causing these issues. They have brought regulation, police, and food insecurity into our school. The residential and dining services has been complicit in the takeover while it searches the rooms like the Gestapo looking for bags of grass and an excuse to levy additional debt for our already enormous living expenses. Evergreen State College is probably the cheapest college you can possibly find. This is a call to capital R, refuse the capital G greenery, which is the dining services, and capital I, its capital W world, and to force the administration to answer for its utter disregard for the best interests of the Evergreen community. See, what was I saying? The administration is ruining the academic integrity in order to equitize and include these very people. This very mindset is taking over the college and is being completely catered to by the college. And my degree and other people's degree who have gone there is being completely wasted on this. This is in bold, and it's outside of the box that somehow they figured out how to put together. The assault on this school will only end when students and faculty say no to the administration. Scrawl on the walls. Take the forests that belong to a tribe that you don't belong to. Shout in the squares. Put up posters and, this is underlined, let the administration know that we will not give up without a fight. You guys are a bunch of pansies. It would be a much greater use of your time and your skill set to turn paper into origami, something decorative, rather than this. Drivel. This was also found on the same corkboard. Stalinists threaten strike, semicolon. Members, semicolon. Shut down co-op for May 1 riots. So this is probably old news, but Olympia Co-op's $4.5 million staff in secret councils demanded the closing of the stores in solidarity with the masked Hoodie Day riots scheduled for May 1, and as confirmation of all members' commitment to sacrificing for seditious resistance. According to leaked sources, we gonna anyway, a committed staff member blurted out at the informing session with the board of directors. A few staff and active co-opers plan to the Seattle action with black hoods to piss in the streets and tear down a statue. There might be bleeding and we want pictures. This could be bigger than Rachel Corrie getting run over in Gaza, which is horribly, horribly disrespectful to the young woman who died in Israel about a decade and a half ago, which under certain theories is what actually galvanized or radicalized Evergreen, which is a whole other story I won't get into now. To continue and to wrap up this episode, the days of the co-op closing only one day a year for inventory are gone. With the co-ops closing for Riot Day last January and now for May 1, seditious resistance and intolerance of any disunity. You hear that? Intolerance for any disunity. So basically, this is the most extreme form of intolerance, which means there is only one way and everything else will be eradicated. Seditious resistance and intolerance of any disunity has been institutionalized in the co-op Stalinist style. Let's clap until somebody stops. The board of directors rolled over and put their butts in the air at the staff's stiff threat to strike and agreed to shut the co-op's doors and to deny members access to food on May 1. You know, just think ahead. If they're going to be closed for one day, they probably put signs up there 2 weeks in advance. Think ahead. Put down your blunt and think ahead. The board bellied up to staff's demands by promising to pay them for the day with annual leave or sick leave or family leave or compensatory time. It's all about love and pressing serious resistance. One bored big wig gushed. Now, there's 2 other pictures, and I don't like it because I really, really love Heather and Brett. Heather Hying and Brett Weinstein. And their pictures were maligned by pathetic little wieners of Evergreen issue. And let's look at these. So somebody who was really brave put Brett and Heather's picture on the wall. So here's Brett's picture, professor in exile. And here is Heather's picture, professor in exile. And then some other pissant went around and wrote, "Fuck this guy," and scratched out his eyes and X'd out, or made Heather into that guy from the transvestite from Transylvania movie, and then wrote, "The Dark Enlightenment is trash." So this is just standard Evergreen stuff. The students are in complete denial about things. And this is the thing. The students themselves, the ones who started the protest and who are putting up this stuff, they're already irrelevant. They haven't created anything other than a story for us to look at and to tell each other over and over again, and to examine for morals, which means to say, examine for lessons on how to behave and how not to behave. So the students themselves, they're irrelevant, right? They're already gone. They've already paid their money, and they complain all they want. The real problem is the institution. The institution who is bending and perverting, let's say perverting academia to serve this equity of outcomes business. And who is this equity of outcomes business supposed to benefit but the very same people who protested, who took over classes, who took the actual administration hostage? Those are the people who are benefiting from this taking away from students who want to pursue excellence and giving to students who want to pursue, let's say, excrement. Right? Right. So that's it.